What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Beanball Podcast. This is episode 83, and we are your hosts, Alan and Alan.
What's going on, everyone?
What's up, man?
Man, well, we've only been gone for 2 weeks. But Alan, myself, messed up and never uploaded the previous episodes. So technically we're 3 weeks behind, but hey, it's a lost episode. I don't know what happened between work and stuff. It happened.
Yeah, well, we're here now. That's what counts.
Yep, so everyone had a good 4th of July, spent some time with the family and everything. You know, it's summer. It's crazy, you know. I was talking to the other managers the other day, so I think about it. College kids go back in a month.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
I was like, it's crazy. They're like, oh. I'm like, yeah, it's that quick. So we're halfway through summer, and then, of course, with being the MLB, we are almost at the halfway point of the season.
Yep, we're coming up on the All-Star break this weekend.
And while we're gone, of course, the finalist vote happened, which some people were not pleased with how the finalists worked out. Then finally, of course, the voters got in, and a couple days later, the whole roster got announced. So we're going to go through that tonight, of course, who got in, who's out, who got snubbed. And, of course, there's already been some replacements for injured players and stuff. So we'll go through all that. So we're going to start with the All-Star starters, the American League. So at catcher, Toronto catcher, wow, this is going to be a great episode. Me already messed up first name. Kirk, the catcher of the Toronto Blue Jays. Of course, his first selection to the All-Star game. We both had him in our selection. He was a clear favorite of the catching position. First base, we had Vlad Guerrero Jr., his second selection. Of course, he is last year's MVP of the All-Star game. Yep. No shot getting there. Altuve's back for the 5th time as the starter for the second baseman in the American League. Third base, Rafael Devers of Boston, his second election to the All-Star game. This one surprised me. Shortstop, Tim Anderson, his first.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
It says his second.
I have his first. I don't know. Maybe he got in, like, maybe his first starting.
Maybe, yeah.
I was like, that can't be right. And, of course, DH, by some slim margin, Ohtani got in as the DH, even though I don't think he deserved it.
I agree. Look, as much as I love Ohtani, I felt like he did not earn it this year.
No.
What's his name?
Alvarez of the
absolutely
Houston should have got the starting job.
Okay.
And then of course Judge was the leading vote getter, so he was automatically in. And then Trout and his team, and then Aaron Judge's teammate Stanton slid in and got the final starting outfield spots.
Yeah. What's crazy is that Mike Trout, I think he has the longest streak going at 9 straight, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Even though, remember, he did not play at all last year and still got in because of the fan vote.
I agree. That's what happens when you have the fans vote. Remember the hockey time when the guy got voted as a starter? He was like a defenseman. It was like they were trying to make a joke of it a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He got a starter spot, and I think they're making a movie about it. But what's crazy is also Giancarlo Stanton.
He slid. It was so close there at the end because it was down. Toronto Blue Jays, Springer was leading a good chunk of the way. Then last, I think, day, Stanton got just enough to get over the hump to slid in for the starting spot.
But what also makes this interesting is that it's his 5th year getting voted he's an All-Star his 5th year, right? And when we think of Stanton, we're like, oh, man, this dude's got a $300 million contract. He's a big guy, big player. But Judge hasn't been in the league that long, but it's his 4th year as an All-Star.
Yeah, I think this is only Stanton's 2nd time being a starter. Every other time he's been
it makes sense.
The bench guy, or a final vote when they did that a couple years ago, which I liked the final vote when they used to do that. But I guess because they announced it so later, you really can't do it no more. But all right, next is our National League starters. Alan, who's our National League starters this year?
Yep, so for our National League starters, you have catcher Wilson Contreras from the Chicago Cubs. It's his 3rd year as an All-Star.
No shocker.
First base, Paul Goldschmidt is a starter. St. Louis.
This was like the clear-cut, widest margin per vote for the finalists.
It is, but it just reminds me, Goldschmidt's been in the league for so long, man. I remember, when I think of All-Stars and I think of Goldschmidt, I think of, Adrian Gonzalez or something next to him. Back in the day kind of stuff.
Yeah, because, of course, when he was with Arizona before he got traded, and it's just, but those years, it's still like that.
He's still good.
Pete having a great year, but Goldschmidt having a year.
Goldschmidt's having a year.
It's so hard. It's you only get one vote, and it's first base. It sucks.
And he's with St. Louis. This is his 7th year.
Yep.
Which is crazy because when I look at this, last year we saw a bunch of St. Louis starters, and now he's the only starter from St. Louis.
Yep.
So then we got Jazz Chisholm Jr. for Miami. It's his 1st year. He's earned it.
For
sure. He's been killing it.
Yeah, he's doing well, bringing the swag back to baseball.
Yep.
So I was okay with him getting that, especially over Ozzy. He's hurt. I'm like, how is he a finalist? That's one thing that I was like, they're going to vote for Jazz if you're a baseball fan, true baseball fan. and he clearly got it. So
then we got Manny Machado,
year.
his sixth time being All-Star with San Diego. He is having a great year, man.
Great year. I think it's only his third time being the starter, but you think him and Arenado, like you think third basemen, and like that's such a hard position, and they were the finalists. And Manny edged that one out. It was another clear one, close one. The next one, the shortstop, was a very close one too.
Absolutely. But my favorite shortstop in the game got ahead of a little bit. Trey Turner for the Dodgers.
His first start, but not his first All-Star appearance.
Right, and it's funny because both my favorite shortstops are starters for the because Tim Anderson and Trey Turner. Those are my guys. Outfield, no surprise here. Ronald Acuna Jr. I believe he was leading vote getter.
He was leading vote getter, and also he was automatically got the spot over.
Absolutely.
Automatic bin when they went to the finalists.
Outfield's hard because there's so many to choose from.
Yeah, and then I didn't like that they only gave, what was it, I think 4 selections for 2 spots for the finalists. I'm like, they should have gave 5, like something just, I feel like there was another one missing after giving, both Judge and Acuna the guaranteed.
It is Acuna's third time being an All-Star. This person is their 6th time being All-Star. No surprise here. Outfield, Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
Is a good contract, good sign for those guys. He's been doing nothing but producing. So Dodgers, they're looking out. But this former Dodgers also an All-Star, and they were trying to get rid of him last time Jock Peterson, he's now with San Francisco.
Yep.
It's his 2nd time being All-Star.
First starter.
Yeah, well earned, man. And then this the DH, which
unfortunately, he's hurt.
Bryce Harper, it's his 7th time being All-Star, and he absolutely deserves it this year. I'm not going to take anything away from him.
Yeah.
And they also have William Contreras as listed as the DH. And it's the first time the Contreras brothers.
Yeah, he's going to end up. So of course,
it's his first time All-Star.
Of course, the 2 coaches from last year's World Series are of course the coaches, and Atlanta's coach. He automatically already said that. He got elected to be part of the bench. We'll talk about that in a second, but he's going to be the starter.
Yeah.
So the both brothers are going to be on the All-Star team.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, it was no surprises. A lot of people were turned off for the finalists was the shortstop. A lot of people didn't believe that Biggio deserved to be the other finalist.
Okay.
He's not having a great year, and a lot of fans believe that, the whole country of Canada only has one team to vote for, and it's kind of especially when it comes down to 2 people. But still, Tim Anderson got it, so it was no big shocker there. But so we're going to go to the pitching and, of course, the bench players. So the American League, your starting pitchers who got in, of course, Garrett Cole, the Yankees, Nestor Cortez of the Yankees. Then we have Paul Blackburn of the Athletics. We have Alec. Was that Mando of the Blue Jays, Shane McCann of the Rays.
A lot of first-timers.
Then you have Shohei Ohtani back as a pitcher.
Yep.
Martin Perez of the Rangers. Then you have Astros, of course, Justin Verlander, and then Framber Valdez as your starting pitchers.
Yeah, out of those guys, man, it's a lot of rookies. Their first time being All-Stars. Garrett Cole's obviously a name that we recognize as his 5th time, but then you got Justin Verlander, who absolutely earned this one.
Yeah,
and it's his 9th time.
So I'm very curious who Dusty is going to pick to be the starter. I'm assuming he might go with Verlander. Being his guy, maybe. We'll see what happens with that. So then you got a relief pitching. Emmanuel Chase of the Guardians, Clay Holmes of the Yankees, George Lopez of the Orioles, and Gregory Soto of the Tigers is your relief pitching for the American League. Some good, solid arms. Unfortunately, you don't get 4 relievers, so it's kind of hard to pick, when it comes down to only 4. And then your bitch. Like we said, Alvarez is in. First baseman, Luis Arenas of the Twins, Andrew Benintendi killing it yet again for the Royals, Xander Bogaerts of the Red Sox, Byron Buxton of the Twins, Miguel Cabrera as the special selection from the Tigers, our former Met Andre Jimenez of the Guardians, Jose Ramirez of the Guardians, Julio Rodriguez, rookie for the Mariners, made the All-Star game, George Springer and catching the other catcher, and then Jose Trevino of the Yankees, and Kyle Tucker of the Astros.
Very nice.
And of course, there's already been replacements, so we'll go over that in a little bit. Because some of these people, one of them was on my snub list, so I'm glad he's in because of injury replacement. But
right.
But still was a snub not to get your name called on the day they released this. So American League, you go through the pitching and then the bench.
You mean National League?
National League, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the pitchers, I'm not going to go through the reliefs and starters. These are the pitchers. You
Yep.
got Sandy Alcantara from the Miami Marlins. Second time. You got David Bednar. He's the closer at Pittsburgh. It's his first time. I got to see him this past weekend when I saw the Yankees lose to the Pirates.
Yep.
Before they blew him out. I think the next night they blew him out like 16-0,
Yeah, I
which
think it
is
was ridiculous.
the biggest win they've had since like the beginning. Corbin Burns,
Yep.
from Milwaukee. It's his second time. Luis Castillo, Cincinnati. It's his second time. We got Edwin Diaz, our Mets closer.
Yep.
His second time. He well earned. Max Fried from Atlanta. His first time being an All-Star. Well deserved.
Yep.
Even though the Mets got at him last night. Tony Gonsolin from the Dodgers. First time. Okay. We got Josh Hader from Milwaukee. It's his fourth time being an All-Star. Ryan Helsley from St. Louis. It's his first time. And then to match pace with Verlander, we got Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. His ninth time as well.
Yep.
Joe Mantiply for Arizona, first time. And then Joe Musgrove for San Diego.
Yeah, man. Those, and you look at, you think about starting, and you can go, Clayton having a good year, Joe Musgrove's killing it, but if you really think about the starting pitching the first half of the season, you got to go Sandy. The Marlins pitchers, Sandy.
Alcantara.
Yeah, I think right now you think of the best pitcher, especially innings wise and stuff. You're looking at possibly.
I agree. But what I do like is this newcomer from the Dodgers, Tony Gonsolin.
Yeah.
He is tied with Verlander in the MLB lead with 11 wins, bro. 11-0.
Yeah.
They're 11. He's undefeated.
And
That's
then,
pretty impressive.
Atlanta being Atlanta, the coach, he might go with his guy, Max Fried, too.
Right.
We'll definitely see what happens with that. So then we go to the bench.
All right. So, the bench on the
National League.
The National League
bench reserves.
Did we go through the start? Oh, we did go through the starts.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I'm sorry. So, National League, we got our boy Travis d'Arnaud as a catcher.
Yep.
It's his first time being an All-Star.
Yeah.
He's been in the league for 10 years. He's done a lot. As with the Mets, we don't ever think about him like that. But, yeah, great job, dude.
Yeah.
So then we go to our infielders. Again, we have Pete Alonso. It's his second time being an All-Star. His third time in the Home Run Derby.
Yep.
Trying to go for a three-peat. It's funny because he said if he wasn't voted a starter, he wasn't going to do it. But
see, if I'm not at the All-Star game, I'm not going to do it.
I hear you. But yeah, Pete's having a great year.
Yes.
Really good year. Then we got Nolan Arenado from St. Louis, his seventh time being an All-Star. C.J. Cron for Colorado, his first year. Your boy Jeff McNeil for the Mets, second time being an All-Star.
Yep.
And then we got a special selection here. Albert Pujols, St.
So
Louis,
we
11th.
said it earlier that Cabrera got in special selection, and Pujols got.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
One.
We'll get to how cool this is later.
Yeah.
Dansby Swanson, Atlanta, his first time being an All-Star, and he definitely earned it. And then we go to our outfielders. We have for Chicago Cubs, first time, Ian Happ.
Killing it recently.
Somebody that I voted for in our previous one, Starlin Marte for the Mets.
Yep.
Kyle Schwarber for Philadelphia. And both of these guys, it's their second time. And then Juan Soto for Washington, of course. Why not?
It's unfortunate, Soto's the bright spot, so that's how he got in, because you got to have, one player from each team. Some players I feel like that should have been the one to represent, but Soto is the bright spot in there. But
and what's cool is Marte, he hasn't made an All-Star since 2016 when he was a Pirate.
Yeah. So I was excited for it. And then before it got announced, before even the roster got announced, came that during the CBA that the commissioner has able to add a player from each league to the All-Star game. We're like, okay, it's cool. See what happens. And then it literally a day or two later is when he announced Pujols and Cabrera will be an All-Star.
I thought it was pretty cool.
I'm like, cool. It's awesome. Pujols is last year.
It's like a legacy edition.
Yeah. And I'm like, and then Cabrera, this probably could be it. We don't know for sure, but he hasn't said it, but this could be it. So, all right. So we looking at the roster. The biggest things after the roster is announced, everyone's celebrated. Of course, Yankees got the most. I think it was 6 players.
Yeah.
Mets had 4. They could easily had 5, but shortstop with Lindor, you had with Swanson and Trey. That's another hard position, but is who got snubbed. So I went out and I just picked three people from each league. I'll start with the American League. The rookie Logan Gilbert of the Seattle Mariners. What can you? Hey, can you still use the record? Right, he is 10-13. But he also has a 2.8 ERA with a 1.17 WHIP with 100 strikeouts and 106 innings.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
Wow. That is unbelievable for a rookie to be doing. Why didn't he not get pitching, it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was last year, like, we're like, all these pitchers are having great years, and you only can select so many, so it's unfortunate. His teammate, Ty France of course, Seattle. Wrist injury, of course, did not help him recently, but he's back and slashing over 300 with 15 doubles, 10 home runs, and 45 RBIs in just 74 games this season. And then one pitcher, Kevin Gausman of the Blue Jays, through 16 starts, a 2.86 ERA, 100 strikeouts, and 88 innings.
Yeah, Gausman was the guy I wanted to highlight too, man.
Yeah.
He's been doing really well. It sucks you get snubbed, but like you said, it's tough, man.
It's tough
under being a pitcher.
Like, position players even more tougher. You're like usually 2 per position. Starting pitching, you're talking about 5-6 guys. Reliever 4.
And then we talk about like you said, the Yankees had the most players, but I feel like another Yankee got snubbed.
Pitching,
Michael King.
Yes,
he's been doing so good. I mean, Chad Green got hurt for the year, and he came out in 20 innings. King has 46 in the third innings pitched. He's got 62 strikeouts with a 2.33 ERA and .99 WHIP. And then that's pretty solid.
He could easily be added to the roster once, especially if a starter, pitches on Saturday or Sunday, which will be ineligible to pitch during the All-Star game. So he'll hopefully be one of the first ones get called to replace a starter.
Yeah,
if that happens.
Another guy that I wanted to highlight who I thought got snubbed is a player for the Braves, Austin Riley. He's a third baseman. His batting average is .282. He's got 24 home runs and 57 RBIs. He's been working, man.
Yeah, I have him too for my 3 guys in the National League. Definitely, just shy of 300. He's definitely helping the Braves go on this June streak that they pretty displayed the Mets lead. When you go on a 15-game winning streak and then have the best record in June, that stuff happens. We were waiting for it to happen, and it happened, and he's one of the big reasons why.
100%, man.
So a couple other people I got from the National League, this guy actually just got in to replace Josh Hader because he's about to have a kid, so he's on maternity list. But Carlos Rendon was a name that stuck out to me when the first list. I'm like, how someone with 17 starts has a 2.7 ERA, 124 strikeouts, and leads the league in a flip. Like, how is he not? Like, he's been the guy all season besides, the Sandy from Miami. But I'm like, how did he not? But luckily, he was the first person called to be replaced. So I'm happy for them. And then another pitcher you can say is Wheeler yet again. He's a guy. Another good season.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of pitching, he's not getting in. With 8-4 with a 2.4 ERA, it's like, God, what do you have to do to get it as a starter?
Right. I mean, his WHIP is a 105. He's got 104 strikeouts in 95 innings. I like Wheeler. I thought he got snubbed a little bit. And Aaron Nola's been working hard for them too.
Yeah, you can say Aaron Nola too. Like, they're both aces of Philly got snubbed.
Right. And then another guy that I thought isn't like a big name, but I felt like he's been doing good enough to be an all-star is Brandon Drury from the Reds.
I think Drury should have went in over Castillo to be the Reds.
That's
person.
What I'm saying. Yeah, if we had to pick
pick one person from each team.
I
understand Castillo was the bright spot as the pitching, but I know it's probably harder because Drury is a position player compared to Castillo. But I think he deserved it.
The guy's 29. His slash line is a 277, 333, 540, 18 doubles, 2 triples, 18 home runs, 50 RBIs, and he scored 53 runs. He's doing work. Yeah. He's helping them, man.
And unfortunately, the worst team in baseball, but he is one of the few bright spots.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I felt like he got a little bit of snub there because I felt like he earned it.
Definitely one. And then
it's tough. Just imagine if you put him on another team, he could have been doing more work. I don't know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, when you look at the players, because you have to have one. Like, okay, that one makes sense. That one makes sense. The Reds selection did not make sense to me.
Right.
So who do y'all think got snubbed? Who you are excited to see? The Midsummer Classic is a week away from us recording this, so we're gonna go into another All-Star talk. Actually, 2 other players. I forgot 2 other players that got replaced. We already talked about Rendon. So JD Martinez is replacing Alvarez from Houston because he is on the injured list. And then Miami's Garrett Cooper is replacing Bryce Harper. Of course, Harper is on the injured list.
Okay.
So, of course, these things might become more because, I'm trying to think anyone else on top of my name that's already injured. But, like I said, starting pitching, if they pitch Saturday, Sunday, they're not going to be able to pitch, and there'll be replacements and stuff like that. So we'll see how it all goes and works our way down. All right. So that's it for the roster for now. So next is last year we hated the All-Star jerseys. Yeah. We joked them like, what is this? This year, I kind of dig them, ish.
I do too. So if you haven't seen them, they're basically like a gold font.
If you're on YouTube, we'll put it up here.
So yeah, we saw a couple pictures.
Hollywood.
Hollywood edition. Yeah,
in LA.
If you tie it to Hollywood, I like it.
Yeah.
They're trying to say it's inspired by the City of Angels.
Yeah.
It's the gold lettering. I think it's clean.
When I first saw the hats, I'm like, I like them. They're black.
Yeah.
Underneath has I think palm trees with gold for the logo. Like them. Fortunately, I like the American Leagues more with the gray and gold compared to the white and gold for the National League, which sucks because I would love to get Alonso or I like to get whoever represents the Mets each year, the All-Star jersey. So I was like, maybe I'll get Alonso this year. Maybe I technically have Alonso All-Star jersey, so it's like maybe one of the other guys. But I was like, when I saw, I was like, I don't like white. White jerseys, it's just
I agree. Maybe they'll have an alternative one, but you're right. I definitely am feeling the black and gold.
Black, yeah, I was like,
but I do like the hats.
The
hats are pretty dope, like you said. I'm feeling them, so I like it.
I do.
Oh yeah, no Tani jersey, yeah.
Tani All-Star jersey.
Trout,
I was like, it might have to be it this year, but
that'd be pretty dope.
But yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. Like it's like okay, remember before they always done jerseys before, but it was only during practice and stuff. Starting last year, they actually wore the jerseys in the game, so it's kind of cool. It's different. It's kind of like your NBA kind of feel to it, so like having the set jerseys, but I like them. We'll see. What's y'all's reactions? Like, how do y'all feel about these jerseys? Do you like them that they're not wearing their home team jerseys? So, all right. So, we're less than a week away now. Home Run Derby.
Yes.
Monday night.
Most anticipated.
We already talked about it. Everyone's wondering if Pete was going to go for the 3-peat.
Right.
He said, I got to be an all-star to do it. He, of course, is in. So he was the first person to announce that, yes, I'm defending my title.
Right, and this is great because not only is Pete defending it, we got some great guys in this lineup so far. I can't wait to see if they. Right.
Yeah. So Pete was first. Like, okay, no
right,
shock,
no doubter.
Okay, yeah. Like he said, if he's an all-star, I'm going to do it. Like, yeah, okay. First one, second one, not too much of a shocker. He did it last year. Was a little disappointed. Was Ronald Acuna.
Yeah,
it's kind of surprising. Coming from injury, you think they're like you need to rest, but since you're going to All-Star game anyways, I guess, So second one, I'm like, okay, cool. The two big young guys, all right.
But then
the third one, when you text me, I was helping my wife out. So I'm like, no, he's not. There's no way that this is true,
bro. I
opened my phone. I'm like, you got to be shitting me.
Yes, look, man, we got Pujols in the Derby. This is crazy.
For
42-year-old
and final time.
42-year-old Pujols, and it's crazy because when I think of Pujols, I'm imagining the last time he was in a home run derby, they probably had
early
the 10
2000s.
swings. They probably had 10
had
swings.
The 10 outs.
This is crazy, and I've been telling this to Alan every year since they started. I love the way they do the home run derby now.
There's no way he could be that gas with these young guys. I'm sorry.
I'm saying they need to add these totals to his total and get him to 700. Pujols is going to have 4 or 5 minutes? 5 minutes of just swing time.
Yeah.
Not even just taking your pitch. He's just going to
yoke.
He's going to go crazy.
I hope he puts on a show. I hope he doesn't go against Pete first round because how they do the 1 versus 8 seed. It's not just So we'll see how the seeding works out.
They're definitely probably going to have him seeded lower.
Because Pete's got to be number 1.
I'm just saying, the last time he was in a home run derby, who was in there with him?
You're thinking
David Ortiz? How long ago
has
it been?
It probably was like 06, 07.
All I know is that I don't expect a lot, but I expect Pujols to crush at least one round.
Yeah.
I expect him to put on some work, man. He's the machine for a reason.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't see Pujols in his prime, you guys missed out.
Yeah.
Living
right. So
legend.
I'm like, okay, different. And then it started to come out not officially. Soto definitely wants to crack back because he had that terrible first round last year,
and he was an 8 seed last year.
Yeah, and I was like, and he came out and said he wants to hit the farthest Oppo home run this year, so he's back in it. So I'm like, okay, we have 4, and all 4 have been National League. I'm like, okay, so this must be the National League lineup. And then today, another National League player,
right? We get Schwarber
that went on this tear in June to leapfrog everyone, become the home run leader in the National League. So I'm like, okay.
But let's not forget, Schwarber did make it to the finals in 2018 home run derby.
So how hot he is right now, everyone's like, right now, if you think about it, this is Pete's biggest competition as of right now.
The only thing that would make this better, in my opinion, first of all, we get Trout in there. Secondly, we get a rematch, Ohtani and Juan Soto.
So Yeah, so I haven't heard anything else. Like we're like, is the American League?
We got to get some American League representatives.
Everyone's like, is American League scared or something?
Look,
like,
I already know that
it's unfortunate. Vlad already said he's not going to do it. So it's like, that
Judge
sucks.
said he's not going to do it, right?
Yeah, Judge said no, I'm not doing it.
I would be okay with Giancarlo going back in there.
I'm wondering. That's one I was like, is Stanton up for it?
Why not?
Like that's a possibility.
But if he's not, why not Trout? Why not Ohtani again? I don't know, man.
Well, let's see.
I'm just saying, you need some representatives.
Yeah, nothing like it looks like anything so far. I'm like, come on, guys. Like they got to be coming soon. Like, if you think about it, yeah, there's nothing yet of any American League rumors out there or nothing. Just last one was Kyle Schwarber joined. So 8 people. So we have 3 spots left. So, of course, we said dreams. Realistically, if it are 3 All-American Leaguers, like,
the only people I'm seeing that's sticking out to me that already didn't say no is Trout and Ohtani.
Trout ain't gonna do it.
You don't think so?
No, I think he's like Jordan. Them like he's like never gonna do it. I don't think.
Well, that's his.
It's unfortunate.
I mean, obviously, I'd like to see Alvarez, but isn't he injured?
Yes, he probably would have been one.
He would have been the guy
if it wasn't for
nobody else I'm seeing. Man, maybe I don't want to see Byron Buxton. Maybe George Springer,
Rizzo, but that's because of fucking Yankee Stadium.
You know who I'd like to see? Machado. But I'm saying we're still in the National League. But I'd like to see Machado. But I'm saying if we're talking about straight American League,
I can see
it's got to be.
I can see like
nah, man, it's got to be Giancarlo.
I would pick Giancarlo. Julio Rodriguez wouldn't surprise me. Rookie wants to get in there. Like he has 15 home runs, but
I'm putting together the dream team.
Buxton, I wouldn't mind it. He has 23. Devers maybe.
Okay, so based off the guys you're naming off, I'm not expecting these guys to last long, but the first inning around. I'm thinking it's going to be an all-National League showdown because those guys aren't exciting. Like Giancarlo's exciting. That's about it.
Like if you look at American League, like
I don't see anybody.
And if you go to National League, you can add Riley.
You can add a bunch.
You can add Betts.
Hell,
Crone,
I'd even like to see Trey Turner in there.
Goldsmith.
Jock Peterson. Mookie. Bryce, if he's he's going to be injured, but
Jock, remember he was.
That's what I'm saying. Jock
could come back and
Jock can rake.
Remember, him and Vlad went at it that one.
That's what I'm saying.
Like he can do it. Like
he could.
It's going to be someone like that we're not expecting too much. That's going to put on a kind of show.
I'm just saying if you pick people out of the American League, there's not many to choose from. Carlos Stanton, Trout, Ohtani. I don't see anybody else exciting that's already said the no. It hasn't said no.
Yeah, it's unfortunate,
but that's okay because I don't care about those. I want to see Pujols rake. I want to see Pete 3-peat.
Well, someone said, "Well, if Pujols here, might as well put Miguel in there."
Yeah, why not?
Let them go at it the first round.
Yes, let them go in the first round. I agree. They're not.
At least one of them go in the second round. I was like, I guess.
If you had to put money on it, what American League player do you think is going to make it, or going to attend the home run derby and bat? I'm going to have to say Giancarlo Stanton. If these are my options.
I think he said like he's like open to it or something. So he's probably thinking about it. So, but who knows? Yankees might want to talk about it, like, we need you for the rest of the season. Don't get hurt.
Which is true because he has been that guy who's been hurt. And when he's healthy, he's great. But when he's, struggling.
It's unfortunate. I hope the rest of the 3 are American Leagues. If not, God.
If not,
it's a little sad.
Look, to be honest, I'm actually okay with the lineup the way it is at right now.
So far,
I would like to see some more people join, but those people, if they're not the people that I already named, I really don't care. That's all I'm saying.
There's just gonna be some,
unless you want to bring
like,
more National League guys in. Look, as far as I'm concerned, National League should win this freaking game. All the hitters are in the National League right now.
Yeah. So, all right. So I think that includes the all-star portion of our show tonight. I believe so. Yep. So I hope we get some American Leagues. We'll see if any big names. We'll definitely go over the home run derby. I'm excited. I hope Pete can do it to be the first person ever to win 3 in a row.
Yeah.
That'd be, unfortunately, it's a year off in between COVID, but whatever. It still counts. So the next thing we're going to talk about, what's up with this Baltimore Orioles team?
Look, man, sometimes you gotta believe, just like we say in the Mets organization.
Like, few teams in baseball have been playing as well as the Orioles have been.
And they've been getting a little help too, because like I said, I think they've had back-to-back walk-offs or something like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, when you
Mancini walked off and somebody else walked off.
Yeah,
they won 8 in a row. I think they lost the last couple. But
so if you go back to end of June,
okay,
Baltimore was 35-43. They were separated by 6 teams in the American League wild card. They're among the most clear-cut deadline sellers, most likely. 6 Baltimore players were placed on the top 50 candidates as going into July. Fast forward to a few days, the O's had done everything correctly. And now makes the thing you think the front office, do they not sell?
That's the hard question.
That is going to be the question because, sweeps of the both, not great teams of the Rangers and Angels carried an 8-game winning streak to now to be within striking distance of a wild card berth.
Yeah, I would say so. Like, everybody in their division is pretty decent. The Orioles do have the worst record, but they're only 4 games out from second in their division.
As of tonight, I haven't really checked to see their game, but they're a game out of 500 as of today.
Yeah, they're 43 and 44, and if they didn't lose the last 2, they'd be above 500.
Yeah,
they're doing things correctly. The issue is, this is the time to sell or buy.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to do? They're in a tough division. Granted, they're having some small success.
They're currently beating the Cubs right now.
Do you think their front office cares this much to say, oh, let's go for it? Or do you think they're like, we're still going to sell even though we're doing good? Right now, the fans are happy. But
you think about, like smart decisions you got to think about it. Like, okay. Like, of course, the biggest name there you're talking about is Trey Mancini.
And the Mets are interested.
A lot of people are interested because he can DH, play outfield, and play first baseman.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, that's a strong possibility.
But if you're buying, you're not going to get rid of those guys.
Yeah, it's
they need to add.
And you think about you lose for nothing.
Right.
So do you trade Trey for a possible, a arm or a prospect that could work out for you, or keep on to him where he might leave free agency for nothing?
Exactly.
That's a tough decision.
It depends. Do they think they can win now? I'm going to say no.
No, I think we talked about them, that this team can be a playoff team,
maybe
destroyer.
3 years though.
It's giving vibes back from the old Orioles teams where when Buck first took the team over, where they're one of the best teams in September. Mm-hmm. Then their years after is when they made the playoffs and stuff, and so it's you can see the groundwork is setting.
I'll tell you what I see. I see a team that is in build mode.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to sell Mancini to the Mets or get some prospects because
there be a couple guys.
They have prospects in the minors that we know about that are ready to go. And then you got Adley Rutschman up there who's doing stuff. You got, what's the other guy's name? You got a couple of players right now that are pretty solid in their organization.
So we think the updated list now just came out the other day. They have
Austin, whatever his name is.
Yeah. So in Norfolk, they technically have the best starting pitcher and they have the best catcher entering the season. Now they have a two top five prospects with the pitching still there because he's hurt, but their shortstop that has flew up through the rankings this year and is killing in AAA. And now they have 5 or 6 top 100 prospects as of right now who are in AA or higher.
That's what I'm saying. So my thing is, if they need more prospects, I feel like they trade Mancini.
And then there's what's the other name? Odor, that's been doing well for them. He can be a trade candidate for someone for a bat. And they got the guys in AAA right now here in Norfolk that can replace him to keep that spark going.
Me and Alan saw the middle infielders,
the shortstop,
Gunnar Henderson, and
the shortstop,
and the second baseman
George. He's the one that just cracked the top 100.
Let me tell you what, that second baseman's no joke. I don't know his name, but I know he is filthy good.
He's batting over 400 the couple weeks he was in
AAA.
And
it is really good.
His bat, his live.
So I guess my point is that I feel like if the Orioles feel like they're in a build mode, maybe they trade Mancini to get nothing.
It's great for your team to have chemistry, to have the spark in the clubhouse. So yes, you're winning baseball games, which is always good. They had a almost sold out crowd the other day for the first time. Of course, yes, the Angels in town. Of course, Ohtani and Trout helps.
For sure.
But
we would be there
winning
if we could have been.
Yes. But it's you're alive. And, of course, if you're in Baltimore, they just did the deal again like they did last year where for the rest of the season, you can, for $40 a month, have games to the rest of the games in August, September, and October.
Now, that would be special.
I'm like, why not?
I would. If I was there, I would.
At this
totally
point where
do
you
that.
kind of believe you're doing well, they had over 20,000 fans for the first time all season, it's starting. You can see the future is building. Might as well see these guys now before it gets packed where you can't see these guys for cheap.
Exactly.
But I think they might falter because, they did, unfortunately, face 2 not great teams to sweep them. So, yes, that helps. But they are facing the Cubs, too, right now, so it's not a great team. So that's going to even get them closer above 500 or in the wild card. But they might stumble after the All-Star break a little bit where it's like, okay, we need to sell these guys.
Right.
Let's get some people. We see we're almost there. We're trending the right direction. Next year can be our year. We'll get some guys up after we trade them possibly, or start fresh next year. We call them up from day one and we start the plan.
Right. But if you do that, now you have one or two options. The first option is you sign Mancini to at least a 3 to 5 year deal, lock him up for a little bit, get those guys up there, make that team you want, because I feel like you need to do it in 3 years or less.
Yes.
And you need to get some pitchers.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Or you get rid of your big name player, get some pitching prospects, and then build them all up at the same time. So I don't know.
And you have 2 top 100 prospects as pitching right now, a couple infielders. Mm-hmm. So you have some guys. So you
one
can
of them
easily
was just injured though for the rest of the season.
So you're talking about next year now. So you have options. Honestly, I think you're still selling, but you're not forcibly selling, especially if you continue to win. Like, because remember, we got expanded. We got an extra playoff spot this year. So you think about it, like, we can get in, make a little noise. If we lose first round, hey, we're not supposed to be here.
That's true. That's true. And like you said, the thing they got going for them, they're only 4 games out of second in that division. And that's a tough division. I don't think they're catching the Yankees, but they could easily catch a wild card spot.
Yeah.
So maybe they believe. I don't know. If I was them, I would probably – it's hard, man. It's a hard decision.
That All-Star break, your front office are saying, like, what are we going to do?
That's exactly what they need to do.
Okay, if the rest of the way we finish above this many game wins, we're going to commit. If we lose this many and mathematically like it's going to be hard for us to make the playoffs, we're going to sell X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely.
So luckily, it's at the All-Star break where they have time where they have a couple days off where they can sit down, look at their rosters, who's in AAA, who's in AA. Like, they can figure out what they can do, what prospects they want, if they want to give up these players. So it's going to be a tough sell if you're Baltimore. It's a tough division. You know, as a fan, you probably don't want to see Mancini go, but then you probably understand, like, are you going to keep him there and pay him what he wants, or hell, you can flip him for a prospect and still re-sign him because he might love it there. You can always pull that route and hope for the best. Like, look, man, we're really interested, but we want you to try to win this.
Well, you know, thinking about teams and building, after the sweep from the Orioles, the Angels just got swept.
Yeah.
If you were Mike Trout, what would you do this offseason? Would you ask for a trade?
With the rumors of what Ohtani, because, you know, it's almost payday for Ohtani.
It is payday. No. It is absolutely payday. Are they going to pay him?
So if you're talking about, like, the rumor is it's around $50 million a year.
Sounds about right these days.
So you think about it, as a pitcher, $25 a year, and as a bat, $25 million a year. That makes sense.
It does. And
but
he's
as
excelling.
the Angels, you already got the bill for Mike Trout and the bill for Rendon.
Yep.
Can you afford $50 million a year and try to put a competitive team together?
If you want to keep Trout, you have to.
So if I'm Mike Trout, I literally want to go to the owner because he said, I'm still happy. This is where I want to be. I'm going to have a heartfelt, like, look, this team is not here yet. Like, it's unfortunate. You see the memes out there if you're in baseball group stuff. Like, you see Trout hitting like 2 home runs a night, Ohtani doing something that we've never seen do, and they lose to the Tigers.
Right.
It's unfortunate. So you got to think about it. And Angels got to think about this too. Like, are we somehow going to fix this team quick?
They could, though. That's the issue.
Are we going to have to tear this bitch down and rebuild?
I'm going to tell you my thoughts. And I haven't dug that deep into the Angels, but from what I can tell, you guys could win your division if you get the right key players. You need a little bit more pitching, and you need to put it together. That's what you got to do. If I was them, I'm going to find a way to keep Ohtani and Trout. If I lose Ohtani, I need to get some really good players to replace him.
So he gets one more year left on the deal.
That's what I'm saying. You trade him now if you're going to get rid of him, or you lock him up.
So that's what everyone's wondering. Like, could they do it this year? I'm like, I don't think you trade Ohtani before the All-Star break. I think Ohtani is definitely during the offseason, get more prospects because you get a full year of Ohtani. But hell, you can get half a season plus a full year. You might get a couple good prospects if someone's willing to pay.
Right, but you don't want prospects. We want real players that can make a deep.
Yeah, you need
now
MLB ready.
We need you to trade with the Yankees or the Dodgers and get some of those all-stars on your team. You need two all-stars to replace Ohtani. From what I'm seeing right now, he made the all-star 2 years in a row as a two-way player, both positions. You got to lock him up. If he walks and you don't get somebody to replace him that's talkable, like if you don't get an Aaron Judge for him, Trout's got to go.
Yeah,
he can't stay there. Rendon is cool and all, but this is a big deal.
Yeah, because you think about it, you're going into year 11 for Trout after this season, if I remember correctly.
And we are sick of it as fans.
You're gonna miss the playoffs the way they're going. It's unfortunate. Yet again, here we are. Midsummer, we're talking about probably we're not going to see Trout in October.
Right. So you got Rendon who's hurt again.
Yep.
You got a good all-star first baseman in my opinion. And a couple of guys are really good there.
You have Ward. You have Jared Wash.
Right. Those guys
you
are
have
good.
Some guys.
But why isn't it clicking? Rendon's hurt.
We said again, the
Syndergaard
pitching
didn't come back the way he thought he was.
Like he has, like he's like a fucking mountaintop. Like you like peak and then he goes, then he sucks.
Roller coaster.
Like roller coaster. Like he's still trying to figure himself out. Like you
don't have time for that.
You don't have an ace. We all thought that you were gonna throw the money at Gosman. You missed and didn't get him. So you look at I don't know who's technically a free agent this offseason, like pitching wise, ace wise. Of course, if DeGrom opts out, that's gonna be the big money get. Like people are gonna throw money at him if that's the case.
Okay. But scenario. I think they need 3 solid pitchers. But if you get a healthy DeGrom on the Angels and you lock up Ohtani, Trout has to stay.
Yeah. You gotta literally see and hear the game plan if I'm Trout.
Yes.
Like I'm going to the owner and first thing, well, think about it. I'm gonna have a say in the next manager.
Absolutely.
Because you think about like, look,
got to pull LeBron here.
Yeah, you got like, look, we got to figure this out. Like,
right.
Like, you thought Madden was the guy. You let him go. Like, look, guys, I'm 10. I don't have much more years of my prime.
That's what I'm saying.
We need to figure this out.
That's the guy though, 9 times straight and as an all-star. That's the guy that I need to impress or keep on my team. You got to keep him happy. So he needs to have a say in everything.
Yeah. So this time, like, I'm going to the owner. We need to work this out. Like, I might take a week off, but other than that, I'm like, we're gonna figure this out.
I'm just saying it's going to be huge if you lose Ohtani.
If you're like, I don't think we can keep him, and then you're hearing like stuff you don't like, I'm sorry. I'm going to be like, I'll be requesting a trade. Like,
right.
We'll work something out. We'll figure it out, but this ain't for me. Like I don't know if you can do a buyout where you can just turn or like, look, we'll work. Like, God.
How sick would it be to have Trout in a Yankee uniform?
Ugh.
How sick would it be?
Like, I was thinking like years ago, like, before the lockup, we all thought like the year after Bryce went to Philly, I'm like, yo, if Trout and Bryce in the same field,
that would be disgusting.
You would think like,
that would
Jersey,
be good.
Philly. Like,
Look,
I thought it was going to happen, but ended up not. But
I'm saying anybody shy of putting Trout in like a Tigers or a Pirates uniform, they're going to compete immediately. Even if you threw them in the Orioles, I think they'd compete
and
like
then
that.
And then you look at the team, like the team's not doing as great, and yes, Trout's not hitting his average recently, but it could be the manager change.
There's a lot of stuff, right?
The team's not clicking right, and he just might be. The clubhouse might be doomed right now.
I just, for some reason, in my heart, I feel like he'll be in the AL East in a Blue Jays uniform or something weird. I don't, because those guys, they're all about competition and they're all trying to make the playoffs. And he needs a team like that. He can't just go leave here and go to Oakland. He's got to go somewhere real.
Yeah, and then if you look at the teams who have they're like one of the best farm systems right now. Unfortunately, you look at Baltimore has the best farm system right now because they've been bad for all those years, so they have a bunch of young guys. Like you're gonna look at packages who's like almost there or is there. Why? So I don't know. It's weird. This is gonna be a tough offseason for Trout to think. Like, of course, they already asked. He's like, "No, I'm committed." But
he says he's committed, but they have to commit as well.
Especially if you start hearing, or if Ohtani gets traded before Trout hears anything, like, I don't know what I'll do, honestly. So that's gonna be like, if I'm Trout, that's a tough one this offseason after losing this many years straight, MVPs and all this stuff, and you're like, we have the best 2 players in baseball, arguably, and we're nowhere near the playoffs. Tough pill to swallow.
It is.
So, all right. So as we were away for those couple weeks, we finally got the last City Connect jersey this year. The Padres released theirs, put up there. So since now we've seen this year's, we can go back to this year and last year of so far, who's our top 5 jerseys that we have liked. So we want to go through each list.
How about you just want to go? We can go down
our list.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
All right. At number 5 for me, I have the Padres.
The Padres?
The Padres.
Okay.
With the California feel and the Baja feel, I kind of dig it. I like it. It's like that's what the City Connect jersey is supposed to be. Like I dig it. Of course, you have the ones like we said, like the Dodgers and stuff, which was disappointing. The Royals. It's like but I feel like Padres did very well, and I think that right there in my top 5.
Okay.
Who's your top 5?
So my 5th one that my 5 is I liked the Brew Crew.
Brew Crew. They're right out. Like when I think they would have been 5, but then Padres, I liked it a little bit more, so they slid in right in front of the Brew Crew for me.
I like the Brew Crew one, man. I thought it was cool. I liked the little nuances on it. So I thought it was pretty sweet.
All right, so number 4 for me is the Houston Astros City, the NASA jerseys. I love them. Like those were like when the first got rid of the second jersey this year. I was like, yes, this is right. This Houston. It makes so much sense. I love that connection to it. I really digged it.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I liked, for some reason, I don't know why, but I was feeling the Angels uniform as my 4.
It's too plain for me.
It is plain.
If you like a classic jersey, you love it.
It just makes me think of like the
beach. It's just
exactly
like the old time days. It's just classic.
I feel like the what's it called could make a song about it. The
Beach Boys.
Yes, there you go. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, the Beach Boys could make a song about it.
Yeah, like I saw one person when I pulled up to look at all this. Someone did their list, and I'm just like, if you like simple jerseys, you love it. If you don't like simple jerseys, you're not a big fan of it. I'm like, yeah, okay, it makes sense. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that. So, all right, so that was your number 4. So number 3, I actually put the Colorado Rockies in at 3.
Okay,
I like the Rockies, the area code, the above sea ground, like all that. I just really digged it. Like on the jersey, the colors and stuff, like the mountains. I'm like, that's different. That's really different. I really dig those. So what was your number 3?
My number 3 is the White Sox.
Okay.
The South Side jerseys. But that's from your previous year.
Yeah.
But if we're talking City Connect jerseys in general.
Yeah, for the last 2 years. Yep.
Yeah, I like that one.
All right. Yeah. I actually have that at number 2.
Oh, okay. So we're pretty close.
Yeah. Those, when the South Side, the stripes, the black, I'm like, I dig this. I remember last year, I'm like, yeah,
they're tough, man. They're tough. South Side. Tough. I was like, we were pretty excited about that jersey when it came out.
Like, this is what the future for City Connect jerseys. I dig it. Like, so, all right. So that was my number 2. So who's your number 2?
The Marlins. I actually like that jersey. It was pretty cool because, like, it's got a Cuban kind of like background. I thought it was pretty. I like the colors, man. I just feel like it's a nice, clean looking jersey. And it's funny because a lot of these jerseys, when they debuted them, they're all against the Mets for some reason.
A good chunk of them, yeah. So, all right. So that was your number 2. So my number 1 is the Marlins jersey.
Ah, okay.
The Cuban, the spiral, like the colors, like you can't go wrong with that. Like it's like they wear it. It's like it. I just love it.
I just like what the Miami gets all the cool jerseys, man. Like basketball, baseball.
The basketball with the Miami the vibe.
Yeah,
it's I
liked it. What was it? The Sugar Canes is what they kind of base it off of, or something.
The Cuban Sugar Kings. Yeah,
they have like a sugar bag in the side patch.
I dig it, man. So who's your favorite jersey then?
My favorite jersey is one you've already named. It is the Colorado Rockies, man. I just like the mountains. And the green. It's different.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty sick.
Yeah.
It's really close between that and Miami. I just feel like Miami gets all the cool stuff anyway.
So as you look at it, like the teams, like we got now 16 teams. So now we're halfway through the league.
I can't wait to see what else they come up with.
So we're like, if we get 8 more next year, the 8 year after that, so we'll have the full league to have at one point. But I'm like, who's we get for next year? Like, ooh, like who? Like,
I am going to tell you my least favorite jersey.
Okay, so least favorite. Let me think real quick.
I don't even have to think. It is the Nationals jersey.
I was like, you're probably gonna pick the Nationals.
I am. I just don't like it. I mean, it's cool because I guess it has some pink in it. But if you're a woman and you're trying to rock this jersey, are you really gonna go out and get a solid gray fleece with some pink on it? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Washington jersey. Not just because I don't like the team. I just don't like the jersey.
Me thinking about it, like that was so disappointed when they both got released. Was both the Dodgers and the Cubs just being so plain. I was very disappointed, especially the Dodgers. Like you could have done something graffiti, LA, like something, and then it was just like blah.
Yeah, and then like you said, the Cubs is another
one.
The Wrigleyville.
Yeah,
it's just plain blue. So,
yeah, I was like,
look, and you're right. The Dodgers one, I felt like they wore this like on a daily basis.
That's like their spring training jersey. Well, the blue, the alternate blue.
Maybe it's because I'm thinking of basketball when they have like Los Lakers and Los this is basically just a cap off of that. It's nothing special. It's just
like whoever designed it was feeling lazy when it came to Dodgers one. But yeah, unfortunately, I just didn't like that one.
Yeah, I completely understand it, man. But you're right. One of them that was outside of my top 5, but I still, like you said, gave it some respect was the Astros jersey. That one was pretty tough. Yeah. It was good. I'm just not a big fan of the Washington jersey.
Yeah, it was meh. Like I get it for.
I'm not a big fan of the Diamondbacks one either.
When it did. Oh yeah, Diamondbacks. But like when National, I got it because it was that time of year. The cherry blossom. But for something to where throughout the season like a lot of teams did, I'm like, that's not something I would want to wear.
I watched him play in it too, and it didn't do anything for me.
Yeah. So, all right. Before we wrap it up, one trade I thought was a little weird, and so thought about it because the Mets are playing the Braves right now in a big series, but it's kind of weird. Not every day you hear a team trade prospects away to a team for money and a draft pick.
No, not in baseball.
Yeah, you think that's football, that's basketball, like future picks. But I'm like, the Braves did what? Like a former first-round pick of the Braves was traded for this year's competitive first-round slot and pool money from the Royals. I'm like, who the hell they need 2 first-round picks? What are the Braves doing? It's kind of curious. I'm like, whoa, I'm going to be very because, with All-Star game next week, we have the draft.
Look. Maybe.
I'm like, who they going to pick? I can't wait to circle this name. Like, who are you?
I feel like they need pitching.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to get the guy they want, and then they're going to get Rocker.
Rocker, everyone is picking right now to go in the top 10 to the Rockies.
But that's what I'm saying. What if I'm saying
Atlanta, I think, has like the 11th or like something picks, something like that. I can't remember.
I don't know, man.
From something, but I'm like. For a draft pick, and I'm like, that's weird. That is so weird.
So they still expect him to go that high?
Yeah, they're projecting him like top.
I did hear that he did have to get surgery though after the Mets passed on him.
Yeah, that just some minor surgery.
Right.
Yeah, Mets saw something.
Either way, he's been killing it. At least I think he's still killing it.
Yeah, it's independent league.
Right.
I haven't really got into details of what he's done, but it is what it is. We'll see with the draft. But I thought about we're gonna talk about that, but I was like, a lot of people probably don't know. Like,
yeah,
my biggest thing is who's gonna go number 1. There's like 3-4 guys. I'm waiting to see who's going to pick, like, especially because I think it was Orioles have it. This is probably going to be the last year they have the number 1 pick because how well they are doing.
Right.
And if they keep continuing, so you're like, this is it. This is the final piece of your rebuild is probably this year. And especially because starting next year, it's the draft lottery starting next year. So you could be the worst team and might get only a 4th pick. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Right, and I don't really know too much about this year's draftees other than Rocker, but
I know Rocker, and then I know the kid from Florida, the high schooler, Elijah Green.
Okay, but I tell you what, I am excited about the futures game, Jack Leiter.
Yeah,
that is what I'm excited about.
Like a bunch of guys, especially the new number 1 prospect in baseball, the New York Mets catcher.
Oh yeah,
he is it's not World versus America anymore. It's just National League versus American League. So it's like you're gonna see them in LA. I'm very excited. And then of course, like one of the guys you talk about here in Norfolk for the Baltimore Orioles, Henderson. He's named to the futures game for the American League. Yep. So it's kind of cool to see that. So it's gonna be interesting. But it's insane. And I saw one coach in college is not happy about the draft being this late now because he don't know if the players are coming back or not. But I'm like, if you're
that's not our.
My thing is like, okay, if your player got drafted anyways, this is the time frame they'd be negotiating anyway. So what's the big deal? I'm like, it's a shorter I'm like, come on, bro.
You might not like it, but deal with it. The freaking college basketball coaches and football coaches, they got to deal with this kind of stuff all the time.
Like, I understand it's right after their the season, but I'm like, okay, it's a couple weeks later now. Whoop-de-doo.
You guys can figure it out. You guys got plenty of players on your team. I'm just thinking like Duke and UNC, they lose the starting 5 every year.
Almost.
So what are you talking about? They can deal with it, and they got a good team. You guys. It's not
your
problem. You should be happy for your guys.
I'm like, I think it's better because they can go to the draft and actually be with family. Because
remember,
Dansby Swattens was at the College World Series when he got drafted, so he was just around his teammates, sit around family and get celebrating, having a party. Like, it's a little different now. Like, you can go to the draft.
First of all, you should have a good idea of who you might be losing. So I don't even want to hear that.
Yeah, you might get.
And if not, you're not in the right position.
The commitments were freshmen who could be drafted. Like, look, if he goes in the first round, we're probably not getting this guy.
Exactly. You got to have a contingency plan.
Yeah. Like, okay.
What are you talking about?
So I saw that article. I'm like, really? I'm like, you're upset because MLB moved their draft a couple weeks. I'm like, whatever.
Be upset.
Yeah. So I believe that is it for this week. So, we have the Midsummer Classic next week. So we'll figure out. We might record during it. We'll figure it out. We might do because, think about it being All-Star week. It's time for our midseason awards. Who's MVP so far, Cy Young, manager, and then we could probably, as of the midseason, who we pick for the World Series. We can look at that because I know we're probably still leaning towards Subway Series possibly.
I am. You can't convince me otherwise at this point.
So y'all have a good one. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Switch that V6 for the EV. Ride it around my city. You should come ride with me, yeah. Feel me if you hear me sip water like a fish. Sip out water to the gillies, yeah. This a new